Okay, so here you have it. The other day I had made a video talking about the kids and how each generation gets weaker and weaker genetically and mentally. I mean, if the genetics are bad, how can we expect the mental or the spiritual? So, parents, between me and you and that tree that used to be, the one I chopped down, yeah, me, lumberjack. Long story short, and all jokes aside, if you want kids to really trust you, if you want your children to grow up into kind, loving, not kids who are conditioned to have an emotional commitment to ignorance, not children who are following what society tells them, dislike those who don't look like you, even though you hate most of those who do look like you. It's very confusing. And here's the key. As soon as that stops, here's the key. When we tell the kids the truth about who we were, who we used to be, same thing with critical race theory, they won't tell them that because then people will stop hating each other because they think they're black or they think they're blue or they think they're gray or yellow or pale or white or whatever. They'll stop thinking that. We'll have a better world condition going. And they don't want that. Who are they? I believe it. There's a word. What's this? Plaidins, Palladians. They're not human. They look human. These individuals I'm talking about. They're not from here, but they look like they're from here. Okay. Here's the point. If you want your kids to trust you, you got to give them something that makes them confident that you're not this other thing that they hate, which is an authority figure. Kids don't like that authority shit. You didn't like it either. So don't treat your kids like a cop, like a clown in uniform who protects the 1% that shits on everybody. Because that's all a police officer is. A clown who protects the 1% who shits on his loved ones too. But they give him a check. And that's the problem. We don't care what they do to others so long as we got chew pears off the tree. Once again, parents, if you want your kids to grow up different from the rest, if you want your kids to stop going and allowing their anger to lock them in a hanger, a mental state of discontent, where they shoot up a classroom full of innocent students because you showed them how to use a gun or told them these kind of deadly, dangerous things. Yeah, it was you, because it's usually your dad. It's usually the dads who teach these kids about killing things because most of them get a thrill out of killing living things that can't protect themselves, you see? And that's why we have a bunch of cowards who are in charge on this planet's face. Cowards put in charge by a real dark force. Not dark from hue, a real dark force. Remember George and the rest of them? What they call them? The forefathers? The forefathers of what? They were pimps. They were cowards. They were pimps. They wrote rules for you to follow. And this is what you do to your kids. You treat your kids in a way you don't even see it because it was done to you. So you learn to repress the discomfort of being told to believe what you were taught to believe. Let your kids have an imagination of their own. Tell them where to look. Don't tell them what to see. Don't tell them look at me and see the difference. Tell them look at me and see the similarity so they can see that when they're tired of you, they can learn from me. Okay? Back to the lab without a mic to grab. And I tell you, YXY, I believe I'm a pretty cool guy. Shit, I can turn to a bat, and if you're not looking, I could even fly. No, parents, let's help these kids. Let's teach them at home so when they go to school and learn that bullshit, those lies and propaganda about George Washington and the rest of these clowns, Frederick Douglass with no bounds, they'll be able to come back to you and get a reference point. So now they have more access, giving them the wherewithal to know that most of the stuff school's teaching them isn't worth anything at all. Except reading. We need to learn how to read. Math. We need to learn how to count. And I guess they want you to learn English. even though English is the poorest language in the world, caveman language. Huh, hey, huh. If your name is John, John, John. But if you speak in Latin, your name goes from John to Juan. So now, if John steals your shit, yeah, John stole my shit. It's a little different if Juan steals your shit. Because now you're smoother. And when you accuse him, the wording comes out better. Yo, you know what that damn Juan did? Juan stole my shit. Who? Juan. Who? Juan. Not John. Juan. Latin is the language. Why do you think on the dollar bill, the only thing it says, God we trust, and some other things in English? Because that's for the poor mind. The Latin, the e pluribus blurris, whatever he did to Dolores, that shit on the back, next to the I. Look, read that. Latin is the language. Arab, what is it? Aramaic? But Latin is the language spoken by the Masons, the liars, the thieves, the criminal. Masons are the most wickedest individuals on this planet. Obama, Trump, all presidents were Masons. They could not be your president if they weren't. If they were not Masons, those who are willing to kill for their master, they would not be pretending they're your master. There's the master, and there's the puppet master, and then there's the puppet. The master tells the puppet master how to run the puppet. That's it. Back to the kids. All that New Year stuff. Tell them kids stop learning how to kill things. Tell them kids learn how to start building things. See, get on that video, and all you can do is say to you, when you have something to say, is what new did you teach you how to kill today? Take that, hold that, let that be that. Happy New Year. Parents, start connecting with your kids. Tell them the truth the same way you go kiss some guy's ass just so he'll like you. And you dads, you tell your kids the truth just the way you go kiss some woman's ass just so she'll like you. Treat your kids with that passion instead of treating folks who you want to be smashing with passion. Tell your kids the truth. Share something with them that nobody else knows about you. And then they might do the same thing for you, which could save their life and help them avoid the voids that you experienced and went through. Peace, and I'm out. Happy New Year.